Welcome to this look at a cracking new mod map on Farming Simulator 22 with me, MrSealyp. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on Ladyhill. This is a new mod map out from FS Landscaping, who bought us Chipping Norton, the Diddley Squat farm map, and Balham Road Dairy Farming, the Tom Pemberton farm map. This is a real location in County Antrim, Northern Ireland, just north of Lough Neagh. I think not Lough Neagh. Anywho, 265.53 megabytes download. There are no custom crops. Contracts are available. There are 2 required mods which download automatically. The slot count on New Farmer is 975. The slot count on Farm Manager and Start from Scratch is 867. You start with no vehicles, machinery, equipment on Farm Manager and Start from Scratch. I'm saying that because we're at the start farm. Now, most of the farm areas on the map, and there are a few, I think there's 8 farms and 4 farm areas. You can remove some of the silage clamps, you can remove some of the silos, but most of the farm buildings and stuff remain. I got the slot count down a little bit, not a huge amount. You can have a fiddle around if you want to. But that being said, the map looks like this. So on New Farm, we do start with a fair bit of land. Now, something to be aware of. On Farm Manager and Start from Scratch, obviously you won't have all the periphery fields. 168 is the plot that's got the farm on. The farm plots on the map are expensive. And considering they're not particularly configurable, that might be a bit of an issue. Plot 163, 164 and 165 are pastures, which obviously you won't start with on Farm Manager and Start from Scratch as well. A sheep and 2 cow pastures. There are some other farms and pastures around the map which we are going to go and have a look at. I've taken the liberty of already putting some money in just to make sure we've got enough to buy all the plots as we go around. As far as the rest of the plots go on around the map, they're not too bad, not too expensive. It's not without its problems. Clunky is the wrong word. It's not. But there are a couple of areas of quirkiness, so let's just say that, and a couple of areas where I'm not sure whether I've missed something obvious. I'm never sure. You never know whether a map maker's intentionally done something, or in the port over from PC to console, something sometimes goes awry in coding. It happens, you know. I don't know, but we'll have a look as we go around, and I'll point a couple of bits and bobs out that I have seen. So let's, like I say, field prices. We've got some smaller fields, medium fields, larger size fields. We do also have the verges, the periphery of the map, as you can see, cost 0. And that's what's also interesting on this map. I'm going to buy that just so we can see the bits we bought and we haven't bought. We have got the biogas plant down here at plot 182, 0 for the biogas plant. And then we've got up here, plot 180, which is the quarry area, also 0. Bonus. The other plots we'll buy. Should I buy them now or should I buy them as we go around? I'll buy them now, I think. There's 178. We've got 170. We have got 177. There's a few of these, like say 3 or 4, which when you buy them, nothing else comes up. There's some which all that comes up is a silo. And some we've got a pasture or something comes up. 179, we'll buy that. What else was it? 175, 174. Just going to make sure I don't miss one. 171, 176. We don't technically need to buy. That's a sell point. You do have the option to buy the land, but there was a pasture. Where was the pasture? That, oh yeah, down here, 166. So next to plot 169 where there's a farm, plot 166 is an animal pen. That's something to be aware of. So all those extra ones, some have come up with icons for silos, some haven't. For example, this one here, plot 177, there is a farm there with a farmhouse with some buildings, not derelict per se, but giving you opportunity if you want to buy the land up. Like I said, you can't sell the buildings that are on it, but you could add to if you want to. If I've missed any other plots as we go around, I do apologise. These ones up here, I did buy them because I thought they might be pastures and they weren't. Where else was there one that I thought there might be? 162, that wasn't either. So we should be alright to head round, I think. Fingers crossed. Build mode, we'll check on that. Added in on top of the 2 required mods, we've got a couple of silos and silage clamp. These are both 400,000 litre and they are, what's the word I was going to say? Standard crop types, they're not multi-fruits. If we go along to tools, we have got the Rough Lane workshop. There's nothing under farmhouses. under production and generators, we do have an additional wind turbine that's been put in. And then if we go to animals, we have got under cows, horses and sheep, additional. That's interesting. The cows and the sheep one are both 0 as well. They're pastures, and then what it says in the description, I tried this out as well, is those pastures. Let me just pick one for example. You can place them anywhere. It doesn't deform the land, so you're able to place them wherever you want and then take them away again. But what I will say is, if I place this one now, that takes us to the limit. So we are close to the limit for animal pens already on the map. So if you wanted to add other things in, like chickens and pigs and stuff like that, you might have to go around the map and remove some of the pens that are already in place. Just a word of warning. Nothing under decoration, nothing under landscaping. We are good. And so off we will go. We have got our farmhouse here. There's no sleep triggers, so you can find sleep triggers in the mods hub. There's plenty knocking around to be playing with. Just move the pickup out of the way, so we're going to need that in a little while. Let's swing that around here, just so we're ready to head down the driveway. Engine off. So come up into the yard. Lots of barns and buildings. Lots of space. Now, when I said about a little bit here and there that are a little bit clunky, there might be some scaling issues on a couple of the buildings on one of the sell points. You'll see when we get there, and this one as well. When I come up to the doors, I mean, I'm a big lad. I would struggle to get through that. It's just stretching out to the side a little bit. Anyway, I like the fact there's stuff sort of. It feels like a proper old farmyard. There's stuff. It's a tight yard. There's not a huge amount of space, but stuff's been put around. So the first of our cow barns, sheds, plenty of equipment and machinery dotted around to be getting on with. Like I said, on Farm Manager and Start from Scratch, you don't have any of that. We hop the fence here. First animal barn pasture for 200 cows. The troughs are here and inside for feeding and that kind of thing, and that runs out across the field there. We hop the fence there and come round. We've got our sheep pasture, which is just here. I have to say, I really like the map. For 100 sheep, it's got a lovely sweeping quality to it. It has a very natural feel, I think, personally. We have got hay bales, a few of. We have got silage bales just around the corner in here, a few of. I don't think we've got any straw bales. I didn't come across any. Just there. We've got our silo, 400,000 litre standard crop type with our trailer just there. Silage clamp here as well with some equipment. We've got next pasture here, 4 cows, 200 of in this field here. Most of the straw was in this one. I'm trying to think. Nope. I love the fact this kind of sits up on a little hilltop overlooking the countryside as well. Very nice indeed. Background to the pickup, and we will head down away from the farm. This is one of those maps that feels big because it's out and back. There's a lot of out and back driving, rather than like a route that takes you around in a circuit, which always makes a map feel bigger. I'll come back and do all the gates later on, don't worry. I know people get stressed. First rule of farming, never leave the gate open, I know. Next pasture just here, and like I say, these are the ones that you start with on New Farmer but are in addition to... Where was the trigger just passed? There we go, for another 200 here. What I'll do is I'll show you. So if you want to have that field for something else, you can take the pastures out around there and you can add more in. So like I say, if you're feeling there's too many cow pastures on the map and you want to add some other animals in, you can go around and you can remove a few here and there. Depends what you want and where you want it. So, let's get out of the farm. Head down the lane. A couple of them I will use the build mode. I'll throw the drone up. I know I said that on one of my videos that I'm going to throw the drone up. That's just using the build mode, because someone said, well, you haven't got a drone on console. It's not a drone, it's just because it gives you an aerial view. I just sorry. Right, let's continue down here. So first place we come to is McKinney Distributions. This is a sell point just here. Everything, sorry, the thing I was going to say, everything is really neatly signposted, so you won't have a problem finding things. trying to think. Could we get on the back end of this? I don't think we could. The sell point is just here. There is a little roadway that runs around the back of here, I think. Or did I dream it? Potentially. That's McKinney Distributions. There's not a huge amount of productions on here, but there is space. I mean, like I say, you can do what you like once you get on a map. Have a play. Why not? Down the lane. On our right hand side before we get to next turn is that plot 177, which I've put down as potential farm, which is just there. So there's no silo on it, there's no animal pens, there's no sleep triggers, nothing like that. Again, I'll do it from here, it's probably a little bit easier than keep driving down. So it's a nice looking plot. Like I say, sling a sleep trigger on there. You've got some barn space and building space. No reason why you can't buy the field next to it and then put a pasture in or whatever you want to do. It's entirely up to you, of course. Next turning down takes us to the dairy. Dairy is a standard dairy. Just here. There's a lot of detail. There's a nice immersion to it. Like I said earlier, when I said it's a little bit clunky in places, my overall feeling of the map, I really, really like it. I mean, this style of map I love anyway. I love this sort of countryside, and this might not be everyone's cup of tea. I know we were talking about this when we were at that FS25 event, and I always like that sort of thing, not just because of the event itself, but because you're with other content creators that you don't necessarily normally have a chance to sit and chat with. Everyone shares ideas and you talk about things and how you feel about certain aspects of the game, maps, map makers, content creators, modders. We just discuss everything, you know. It's interesting getting that cross section because there are people from all over the world, the styles that people like. Not everyone likes a close in hedge road lane type map. You know, they prefer big open machinery type stuff. It was interesting how many of the American guys said they like this style of map, you know. And I've said that many times on map tours, it depends where you're from, it depends what you're used to, it depends what you're comfortable playing on, but sometimes people go the complete opposite. Because if this is the sort of area you live in all the time, and you've got the opportunity to come onto a game and play or farm in an area you've never farmed before, you may then go the complete opposite. So, it all depends. So, we come up the road here. This is plot 170, I think it was, if I recall. Again, no sleep trigger. Farm buildings. It's a solid old wall there. And we do have a silo around the back. So again, not a silo, what am I talking about? Cows. So no silo on this one, but a cow pen for 200 cows. Silage clamp, barn and building space. Sort of courtyard area in the back here. Again, plenty of scope for you to put in what you want. If you're playing multiplayer, there's plenty of scope. Then everyone can have a farm. Everyone can have 2 farms. Do it if you like. Right, back down from here. Like I said, it feels big because of the out and back. I'm trying to look across the scenery as well, the landscape, the sweep of it. I know it says in the description, I think it's Sites Lancy Boys helping out. Better make sure I get that correct. Special thank you to Lancy Boy for teaching me useful tips making buildings in Blender. Of course, Mr. Farquhar for all his time spent going through the map, testing and giving helpful advice. But it's stuff like the weeds and bushes and bits around the fences and up close to the edges of the field. That's what adds that natural feel to it. It's not just flat field fence, you know. So we've just gone back past McKinney's. We're coming back along the lane. We're going to take a right hand turn in a minute. There's not any traffic on the side roads. And again, I've had map tours before where people have messaged or commented saying, I don't like the map, it needs more traffic. It's interesting because it depends where you are in the UK. I've said this before, when I go to the Lake District, myself and MrSealyp, we'll often take the dog for a walk, and there's a loop we do where we stay. It's 2 miles. And we've done that loop 2 miles and not seen a single car. Nothing has gone past us once in a 2-mile walk. And you can probably go a lot further and not have any, you know. So it depends where you are. Often there's not a lot of traffic, but I get it on some maps where it might be a bit sparse and you might feel it needs it. So this plot here, plot 169, we have got, this is Rough Lane. There's a workshop trigger at the back of here. But I think it might be accessed... Oh no, it's not. That's in that building, I'll say. Because there's this bit in here, but that's not a workshop trigger. I love this. We've got a silo there, 400,000 litre standard crop type. And then over here we've got... Sorry, where's our trigger? There we go. Animals 80 in the pen. And this is the plot that when you buy this plot, next door to it is plot 166. If I hop the fence here, that needs to be well, it doesn't need to be, it's up to you. It can be purchased separately, which has a cow pasture on it. So just there for 200. Now again, if you don't want to use it for that, if you've got the cow barn, you're happy with that, you don't want the pasture, this does give you that ability, especially if you've got something like a mod like the herdsman stick, which I love that mod. You could take your cows out of there, just bring them out down this little track, put them into the pasture for the summer months, then bring them back, that kind of thing. I think that's pretty cool. So we had come from that farm all the way down there, back along the lane, past McKinney's, and we're now here at 169. Did I say 169? I did. We're going to come back out now onto the main road. Say main road. Where's the main road? Down here, and then we're going to head in here to plot 173. So there's a couple of these. I might use the landscaping tool build mode simply because when you go down the tracks, it is just it might just be a silo. It might just be the farm with nothing on it. I like the fact as well they're all different. Each one of the farms has a different look, a different feel. And because it's not littered with sleep triggers as well, you can pick and choose. That was such a massive thing. When we went from having only one sleep trigger, one house allowed on a map, to multiple, that made such a difference. It's one of those features we kind of get to a point you take for granted. I went back onto FS19 the other day. I was having to fiddle around because I had an idea for something I wanted to do and went to take on multiple contracts and remembered on FS19 you could only have one contract on console at a time. So to go from 1 to 3 was huge on console, but again it's something that we just take for granted. It's a good view, it's a good map. Yeah, isn't it funny how you kind of get, oh, whoops, wrong side of the road. Things like that, the little patches of tarmac. It was the same on Chipping Norton, I said that on that map. I like those details. It makes it feel immersive that, you know, there's been a pothole that someone's had to come out and repair. Yeah, look, there's a load here. Very cool. Did I miss the turning? Of course I did. Reversing on a main road. Good call, MrSealyp. I'm sure that won't go badly. So, down the lane here. Plot 173. So again, farm buildings, silo, 400,000 litre standard crop type. Again, slightly different design. Once you bought the plot, again, there's not that you can remove the buildings or anything, but we have got room around it. You can remove the silo, and you've got space out front of the house as well. So if you wanted to put anything from like farm productions, if you wanted to put a small like cottage industry type thing, Omatana does a pack of smaller ones. There's the adaptive, the triggers that give you various different productions, which is literally just the triggers themselves, and you can put them up against or inside other buildings, so you can really make it your own. Down the lane we go. Plot 172 will be coming up. We'll make a turn in just a moment. We've got to head out. Where is it? Just here. Turning towards the BJ Animal Dealer and Farm Shop. So this plot to the side, 172, again, can be purchased as a separate plot. Has a silo on it and some farm buildings. So we've come all the way down here. We went to that plot there, 173. 172 is this plot here. I said 283. How much was that one? 251. This one up here was quite pricey. I don't know if you saw when I was purchasing them. 863. It's a bigger farm, but I say it is. They're expensive, considering once you own them, you can add a few bits and bobs, but you can't really configure them. But in the real world, that's what they would cost. If you bought a big farm area with a load of barns and buildings and some land around it, especially in the UK, you're looking at, you know, you're into millions when you get to that point. Scary times. That's going to be a massive lottery win if I want to buy a farm. Oh, So, following all the way down this country lane, we're going down to the southeast of the map. Come to here, to the animal dealer. All this land is part of the verges of the map, so again, if you wanted to add some sell points and triggers and bits and bobs in here, you could. No animal dealer sell point, but again, you could put one in if you wanted to. The animals are static on here, but that's because we've got a lot of animal pens on the map already. Farmer's market, farm shop, just here. This was the only building, I have to say, out of the entire lot, as I turned in, I was a bit like, you know, I was expecting something. I'm not saying buildings like this don't exist in the UK, but I was expecting something more in keeping with the rest of the map. And I'm not having a knock at FS landscaping. It often drops onto my live streams and stuff. We chatted when Balham Road came out, but it kind of stands out when you go around the rest of the map. Like I say, I can't hide the obvious. I'm not going to say just ignore it and go, oh yeah. So next turning will take us to the biogas plant, the BGA. I must admit, I didn't try and sell this. So this plot was 0. So buy the plot, get the land, biogas plant for £0 or euros. Standard biogas plant with regard to what comes in and what goes out. Digestate being the byproduct. Or the product, should I say. There you go. Fairly standard 99 kilowatt biogas plant. What we'll do, let's see. I don't know if it will let me. You never know. Oh, there you go. You can remove it. But can you remove it? And there you go. That's what I thought might be the case. You can remove the biogas plant, but you can't remove the lighting that went round it. So if you were going to put another one in its place, you might have to try and work it around. Just double check that. Yeah, work it around what's there. Don't know about the fencing either. Some places you could. No, fencing's in place as well. But what we do have, we have a secret escape hatch. The corner here, which cuts off the bit of the road we were just on. There we go. Open the gate. Let's go. Don't worry, I own that now, so I can. If I want to leave the gate open, that's on me. This just cuts off the corner where we were just now. Again, I'm kind of, I guess, as I'm driving across, I'm not glossing over, but it looks good. It looks good. So we're going to head back to the main road, head up the road, and then take a fork. Well, there's the thing, me looking both ways. When does that ever happen on a map tour? Oh! These are great days. Mark this point in history. I've got to slow down a bit because when I was doing my prep, I think I got airborne along one of these roads. It did not end well. Let's just say that. Right, turn the road coming up. We're going to take this fork off to the right. And take up the eastern side of the map. First up is the vehicle shop with workshop trigger. Vehicle store. Just here, this is also the reset point on the map. So if you need to reset any vehicles and machinery, you absolutely can. Pop out. The trigger's just in here. Voila. And then the store tinted windows. Nice. It's just in here. Vehicles will spawn or reset back to this area just here. Continuing our journey up the fork. So next one I'm going to use the build mode for. There's a little track that runs out. At the end it's a farm area, there's a little gateway just coming up on our right. Just here. So, we do that. Boom. Follow this track along. What plot was this? I've got to find it on my notes. Plot 179, I think it was. So it's this sort of sliver that runs up here. So it is a bit derelict, bits missing off the roof and stuff. There's a little farmhouse here, but you can get this little plot 179 as a farm area for activities. What was next? Turning in. Now this was curious. We've got Hannon Farm and O'Neill Farm. Now I don't know whether that's, I'm assuming because it says it's a real place. When we get out there, there are two farms, two plots I have purchased, but it doesn't actually label them. I don't know which one is Hannon and which one's O'Neill. Not that it matters, it's no big deal, but I don't know. That's how my brain works. I was like, oh, which one's which? So we've got plot 174 and 175 just down the lane here, unless I've missed a sign, which I might have done. So turning down here, plot 174 just to the right there. Again, farmhouse, shed, silo, 400,000 litres. Again, completely different style, different design sheds. Which I didn't check. I don't think, well, I don't think, and then I'm going to go over there and find there is. I don't think there was a workshop trigger or anything. Let's say silo's there. Silo can be removed. What is happening? That was weird. I didn't realise it was moving towards me then. I do like this design where you've got the gate and you've got sort of extra metal sheeting's been put on. No, just buying and building space. Cool. We'll close that. And then just down the lane a little bit further, we've got the next one, which is plot 175. That doesn't have a silo, but it does have a cow pasture on it. The animal dialogue box, the trigger is there at the corner of the field there, but the farm is over this side. So your feed points and that kind of stuff are all over here. There's your milk point just there. Let's double check whether that was a silage clamp or not. So again, plenty of space for adding to, building. That is a silage clamp. Was this a silage clamp? No. Maybe for bales and bits and bobs. There you go. There's your various different triggers, with your dialogue box being that side of the field. So we are currently... Whoa, where are we? So from all the way down the bottom there, we came up and up the fork, vehicle shop. So that bit there we looked out, I didn't buy that plot. Look, oh, I did buy that plot, 179. How much was that? 94 grand. Then we came up to this turning, and we're out of these two farms here. Now, up there, there's nothing else. Well, that's part of the verges. We're going to head back out now onto the lane, back down the lane to here. So we're still on the fork, because that's where we forked. And we're going to head up this way, taking these bits. 171 is another one, just a farm area, no silo, no animal pens or anything like that. And then we've got the forest, and the forest is a curiosity. That's part of the verges, and I'll talk about that when we get to that in a little while. So I'll see you up along that road. Oh, actually, once I go through there, in just a moment. So we're coming up to the junction. We're going to turn right up here. We're heading towards the quarry area. We've got a couple of other bits we need to get to first. These are two different turnings. So just in here, we've got a debris crusher just there, and then we've got the lumber mill sell point. So it's the sawmill basically. Open the gates here. So a lumber mill, wood chip, and this is what I was saying when I said about a couple of points. I think the scaling might be off ever so slightly here, because that looks stretched. Well, I say it's obvious, you know, I can't hide that. I mean, that being said, if we go into here, if you turn off your interactive zone markers, you can't see it. But if you've got your zone markers on, like I say, it's glaringly obvious. Wood chips there. It's a standard sawmill, once purchased for 100 grand. We can make wood planks from wood with wood chips as our byproduct. Very nice indeed. large placeables area next door, because that's the quarry. That quarry area that was free, plot 180, bargain. And there is so much rock, so much rock. So for, I don't know, winter work or whatever you want to do, if you're fancy doing a bit of quarrying type stuff, there are a ton of mods that can use stone. You can use different debris crusher mods as well. There's the Impro Loop one and others where you can produce your own lime. If that's something you want to do, something like doing. I know, you know, people can be very polarised by this sort of thing. Quarries and stuff, rock, making your own lime, you know, especially when you got the quarrying mods where you can make jewels and jewellery, and people are like, well, it's not farming. Again, play the game the way you want to play it. If you don't want to use the quarry, don't use it. If you don't want to use the stone, don't use it. If you want to use it for just making lime, great. But it is here, and like I say, here and the next bit, I'm going to put the tool on, because I mean, look at it. There's absolutely, it's a huge quarry, and considering it's free, the amount of stone in here. I mean, you could just run a whole quarrying, you know, have a load of you. With, I mean, there's tons of different equipment available in the mods hub for doing this kind of thing. Look at it all. Now, what I'm also going to show you, so rather than drive up the lane, if we go back out into the main lane, which is where we were just now, so we turned in here. If you come up the lane, right to the very end, there's a little turning. Well, that's that farm I was talking about. That is, so we've got another farm area there. No silo, animal pens or anything like that. But again, if you wanted to purchase it, you can. That one was plot, what did I say that was? 171. Now if we come up, just to the edge of the quarry here, there's a little turning, there's a little gateway, just, oh, it's just off the map, I can't get to it. There's a sign there, it says racing track. So if we follow, that little track is just over there, just to the north. If we follow that right the way along, around the edge of the quarry, brings us to here. With lights and, you know, for prep, whatever you want to do, we've got an off-road course, whether it be for motorbikes, quad bikes, whether it's for just to have it as an off-road course, add some extra bits and bobs in here, whatever you want to do. But there's a racetrack off-road course that runs through the trees for you to have a bit of fun with, if you want. Again, don't have to. No one's forcing you. You can race tractors there if you want to. Lawn mowers, I don't know, whatever you fancy racing. There you go. So let's go back to our vehicle. So that's the quarry and the racetrack. Now, the forest has me at a slight. I'm curious. There might be something glaringly obvious that I've missed. So bearing in mind we've just seen the lumber mill, the sawmill. To our right and part of the verges is a forest. A forest, the forest. There are some other forestry on the map. I went round the whole thing. So we're actually turning down Ladyhill Lane now. I can't find an entrance anywhere. I can't find a gateway, and the fencing can't be removed or demolished. So I was looking for a gap. This entire forest, like I say, maybe I've missed a gate obvious somewhere. It all looks like fence to me. And I did use, again, I used the build mode landscaping tool, and I went round all the way around the perimeter, and I couldn't find a gate. Now I don't know if that's intentional, but it does seem odd that we have got a sawmill, we have got a huge forest, and actually no way to do the forestry. But I say, if that is intentional, then that's it. Oh, hang on. Oh no, that's, I was going to say, that takes you into that field. Can we get through the hedge? I mean, does it? I suppose the hedge doesn't have a collision, so I guess you could come through the hedge. Anyway, like I said, it might be something I've missed. It may be intentional, it may not 100% certain. But I suppose what I should have done was reached out to FS Landscaping. I got up this morning and I've had a whole ton of admin stuff to do and all sorts of jobs and bits and bobs to do today. Jumped on, did my prep, and I've just started recording, and as I'm doing it thinking, I should have asked, shouldn't I? Where am I going from here? Oh no, I'm going the right way. Across the road, up here. We have got a sell point. This is Lavery Horse Riding Club sell point. Now this was that plot I said when we were looking. You can buy the plot, but it doesn't add anything on, because I thought, because it was horse riding club, I thought maybe it would have had a horse pasture, horse pen. But I think, like I said, because we're almost at the limit, so you have to drive all the way around. There's no other way to get to this, is there? Oh, there's a gateway there. There you go. There's your sell point here for Lavery Horse Riding Club. Back along the lane. Yeah, I've actually gone round their garden. We should have gone the other gateway, but that's okay. I'm sure they'll be all right with it. Let's just hope they're all right with it. There was another one. What was it? Was it plot 176? Where was that? I'm just checking them out. I've got plot 176 and a question mark. So we've come back along there, along the side of the forest, up here. Where was 176? Oh no, that's the plot. Yeah, that was for the horse riding cell. I put on there question mark because I wasn't sure. And maybe there's a bit of space to put something on there, but not necessarily a horse pasture. But anyway, on our right hand side coming up, we've got Blevins Transport, another sell point. So open the gate there, just in there, Blevins Transport. Then we come all the way along the lane here. To our left, we got plot 178, another farm with large shed. Nothing else on there, no sign or anything like that. And if we continue along the lane, we come to the track at the top of our farm, which brings us back into our start farm. I am going to pull in just here because before we finish, that is the map tour. We're done. This is our farm just here. Quite a bump up into it, but that's pretty cool. I like that, especially in like vehicles with suspension and stuff. So there's our start farm. But what I wanted to show you was this. This place is cool. This is where I want to live. Look at this fancy pants place. Get you. Whoa. Look at this. I think, was this part of the verges? Where are we? We're here. Yeah, that's part of the periphery, the verges. But that's fancy. Very, very nice. Anyway, back to the farm. That's Ladyhill by FS Landscaping. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, as always, thanks for watching.